Use a cutter to remove the tape from the outer box of the IMP-C1. Be careful not to injure yourself while cutting the tape. Remove the user manual and protective air cap from the top of the machine. After removing the side air caps, then carefully lift out the engraver due to its heavy weight. Remove the protective film attached to the exterior part of the engraver. Once the protective film is removed, check the machine's exterior for any irregularities. Open the front cover of the IMP-C1, take out the included items and desiccant, and inspect the components. Open the front cover of the IMP-C1 and install the chip cover. Attach the chip cover to the vise using its magnetic feature. This helps prevent metal chips from getting lodged between the vise and the bellows. Connect the included DC 24 volts, 4 amps power cable to the rear of the device. Connect the USB cable to the USB port on the rear side of the IMP-C1. Caution: when placing the IMP-C1 near a wall after connecting the power and PC cables, be careful not to bend the cables excessively. The main consumables for the IMP-C1 CNC engraver include cutting tools for roughing and finishing and the spindle belt. When replacing tools, make sure the roughing and finishing tool bits are installed in their correct positions. Incorrect installation may cause tool damage and malfunction of the engraver. Press the Tool Change button on the top of the engraver, then press Confirm to initiate vise movement, allowing for a smooth tool bit replacement. Next, replace the finishing tool bit on the right side. As with the roughing tool, use a hex wrench, but use a 1.5mm wrench to secure or remove the bit. After completing the replacement of the roughing and finishing tool bits, press the Confirm button on the top of the engraver to finalize the tool change process. Replacing the spindle belt. Press the Spindle Belt Replacement button on the top of the engraver to begin the replacement process. When the button is clicked, the lower vise of the engraver will move to allow component replacement. Once the engraver head moves downward, pull the spindle belt mounted on the top of the head upward to remove it. The spindle belt removal method is the same for both the left and right sides. First, loop the belt around the rear motor pulley, the smaller wheel, then fit it onto the front pulley. Install the spindle belt on both the left and right sides using the same method. After completing the spindle belt replacement, press the Select Confirm button on the top of the engraver to finalize the process. Software installation. Insert the included USB into your PC and run the setup Magic Engrave executable file. Proceed with the installation process for the Magic Engraving machine software. Click the Next N and Install I buttons to continue the installation. Once the installation is complete, click the Finish F button to exit the setup. Turn the red emergency switch in the direction of the arrow to release it, then press the green power button to turn on the machine. Once the dedicated design software, Magic Engrave, is installed, launch the program by clicking the icon displayed on the desktop. Once the brass mold is secured as shown in the image, push it all the way up to the top edge and fix it firmly in place. After tightening the handle to secure the material, firmly grip the handle knob and apply an additional turn to ensure it is fully secured. You can select the brass sizes from material list. Other brass sizes can also be saved and loaded according to your preferences. If the desired size is not listed, you can enter and save a new dimension in the material size section. Click Text Input button. Select the text input option and enter the desired content. After entering the text, you can change the font using the font selection menu. Make sure the design to be engraved stays within the yellow dashed outline box. If the design extends beyond the yellow boundary, it may not engrave properly. Let's proceed with creating a design using an image file. Just like in the previous text input step, click Emboss Engraving, then select Import Image. Select the image you wish to use for the design based on your preferences. Resize the image design according to your preference. Add text to accompany the image design. To edit the entered text design, click the Selection tool from the top menu and proceed with text editing. Edit the text using center alignment and line spacing adjustment features. Use the orange button at the top right to adjust the left-right character spacing. To adjust the top-bottom spacing, use the orange button at the bottom left. In the top toolbar, click the Selection tool, then drag to select the design you want to use for the toolpath. In the engraving options, enter the desired engraving depth in the depth field. You can use the Z-step machining function to divide the depth into multiple passes. Use the roughing options to set the engraving depth for the brass material. For larger workpieces, use the Z-step machining function to divide the cutting depth into multiple passes. Adjust the XY axis and Z axis speeds under the roughing speed settings section. A speed range of 1 to 5 millimeters per second, also known as the green zone, is recommended. After setting the toolpath and before engraving the brass mold, you can choose to use the flatten surface function to plane the material surface. You can set the cutting depth using the up and down buttons on the engraver. After setting the depth, press the Select button to start engraving with the selected machining settings. While in standby mode, click the menu button on the top interface of the engraver. Select Material Center Measurement, and then press the Select button. Depending on user preference, you can choose either Do Not Measure or Measure every time for the setting. As with the previous steps, press the Select button to complete the setting. If Do Not Measure is selected, the machine will skip measuring the material size and proceed based on the dimensions set in the software.